Ladies and gentlemen, the Avengers has assembled. Or in basketball terms, the dream team has come together. And you know I ran first to look if there was a woman on the team. And not only is there a woman, but a black woman. And if black women could put Joe Biden in the White House, a black woman could get Karmelo Anthony out of jail. I am going to give you the details of this assembled dream team. I'm also going to go over what they can appeal on, and then I'll explain to you why I think Karmelo Anthony will be walking out of jail a free man. Oh, and we also have an update on Jeff Metcalf, Austin Metcalf's racist daddy, and I've already proved to y'all that he's racist. He is now talking on Fox News yet again. Sit back, relax. I got a ton of things to tell you, and then I'll hand it off to y'all, the out louders. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. A team of leading appellate, civil rights, and criminal defense attorneys announced today that it has taken on the case of Karmelo Anthony, who was recently sentenced to 35 years following his unaliving conviction in the passing of Austin Metcalf. The team, serving pro bono, absolutely 100% free, will review the trial records and pursue all available avenues of appeal. I'm going to break that down for you guys in a second. Leading the efforts are Russell Wilson. Here he is right beside me. Shout out to Russell. Gary Bledsoe. Michael Ware, who is super key. I'm going to tell you about him in a sec. The superstar of the team, Brooke Claw from Benjamin Crump's law office. Sean and Justin. Our appellate team has been retained following the conviction to conduct a fresh, independent review of the trial records. We recognize the profound loss suffered by one man's family and the uncertainty facing another. And we extend our respect to everyone whose lives have been forever changed by these events. Our responsibility is to determine whether a legal error occurred and to ensure that every issue supported by the record is fully and vigorously represented on appeal. The appellate process exists for precisely these purposes.
Talk about Karmelo Anthony's legal team, the team that was put together to handle his appeal. Let's start with the lead counsel, Russell Wilson. When he worked at the DA's office, which was under Craig Watkins' administration, Craig Watkins was the first black district attorney in Dallas County, breaking every kind of barrier. And the one barrier that was really prominent in his administration was the Conviction Integrity Unit. Dallas County became known nationally for their Conviction Integrity Unit because they were leading in the country for overturning wrongful convictions and exonerating innocent incarcerated individuals. Russell Wilson became the head of that division in 2011. Now let's talk about Mike Ware, because Mike Ware, when he was a prosecutor at the Dallas County District Attorney's Office in 2007, they founded the Conviction Integrity Unit that spearheaded Dallas County DA's office to lead the nation in overturning wrongful convictions or exonerations of innocent incarcerated individuals.
And now let me give you some background on Brooke, and you'll know why I'm so excited about her. Brooke serves as a litigation attorney and the chief of staff for Benjamin Crump. For those of you who've been following me for years, you know that Benjamin Crump helped me a little bit with me and my Nike battle. Benjamin Crump, yo, they don't play. Let me just try to tell you, like, yo, they do not play. A skilled civil rights attorney and former public defender in Houston, Texas, she advocates for the disenfranchised and fights to safeguard her clients' equal protection under the law. Ms. Claus also provides legal commentary on employment discrimination and workplace equity and has won several verdicts on several high-profile civil rights cases. Trust me, Brooke is a beast. Now let's go over this appellate process. For those of you who've been following this channel daily, you know that we've been covering the details of this case, so please feel free to go on the page. I'm not going to, for my daily listeners, I'm not going to reiterate everything, okay? We do know one of the biggest grounds for appeal is the jury selection. We do know that there was 3 Black women educators that were dismissed by the prosecution. That alone right there is grounds for appeal. Well, I'm also going to cover a few other things, but I forgot to say one thing. For those of you who are on the side of Karmelo Anthony and think that he should be freed, I just want to be very clear. This does not mean a new trial. The appellate process, the appeal process is there to go through the entire procedures to make sure that there is no errors. So first, this dream team, the Avenger team that I'm calling them, they're going to go through all trial records and to see if there's any error. If there was an error made through any process, whether it be the jury, an objection, just any sort of thing, any sort of technical issue, that could be grounds for them to win the appeal. Depending on what the error is that they found, it could be error in sentencing, it could be error in jury, it could be error in evidence, it could be error in cross-examination, it could be various amounts of errors. Depending on the error, they could overturn the sentencing, they could overturn the conviction, they could bring down the conviction from unaliving one to manslaughter to an even lesser charge. It could be brought down to a small charge that's a probation or a fine. There's so much things that could happen during the appeal process. What I think will probably happen is we'll get a new trial. That is what I think. It would be great if they could just have him completely exonerated, because again, for the people who have been following me, you know that I feel like there's a lot of grounds for self-defense. I'm not going to get into it now, but I have also made videos where I feel like there is some evidence that points to manslaughter, which is still, I feel, brings some comfort to the family and to the people who are on the Austin Metcalf side. And manslaughter is still admitting the fact that, yes, he unalived somebody and negating the self-defense claim. So whether it's self-defense or whether it's manslaughter or anything less, most of the times it will be a new trial, or it could just be brought down. So I hope that doesn't confuse you guys even more. I just want to let you know that there's no one direct line in appeal. A bunch of things could happen. I believe that he has a chance to walk a free man based on the fact that if they reduce the sentence, it will be time served because he's in there now. So his time will be served. And this appeal process is going to take at least a year. Even if they get it speedy, it'll be 6 months, 7 months. If he gets a lesser charge, he could just walk a free man if they bring down the charge. They get a new trial, that will even take even longer. So that's how the appeal process works. I just want to make that clear. Now let's go back to some facts and some speculation that I feel could change the outcome of the trial or bringing down the charges. We already talked about the jury. Let's talk about one thing that's a fact that nobody can dispute. In the testimony on prosecution and defense, nobody was able to specify exactly who was who in the video. It is so grainy. It is so far away. You cannot see in that video exactly who was who. Yes, there was video experts that were like, you could see Austin coming in here. Yes, that is actually Karmelo walking in here, running down the bleachers. But the exact interaction when the incident happened, nobody can determine who is who and who is who in that picture. Testimony, yes, for the people underneath the tent can say, oh, Austin was there and this person was there, but we cannot see that in the video. We can all agree with that, okay? Here is what is and by the way, that part of that video can be brought back up in the appeal process. Now, here is a lot of speculation that I feel could also be brought up during appeal. Austin, there has been some, I think 2 people that have said that Austin Metcalf fell onto Karmelo, and when Karmelo had the knife in his hand and he fell onto him. The knife is 3.5 inches long. The wound inside Austin's chest was 2 inches. if you're plummeting into somebody like that, why wouldn't the whole 3.5 go? If somebody pushes or if he trips or there's a fight or pushing and shoving and he falls onto it and it's not so much that he pushed it into him, that would explain the 2-inch wound and it not being a 3.5. That's something that could be explored. There's also, did Austin give him a light push? Was it an aggressive push? Was it a punch? That's to be determined. Was Karmelo approached, attacked, agitated, aggressed by 4 boys? We know with the video, there were 6 that came into the track meet, 2 went off, and there was 4. Through testimony underneath the tent, whose testimony from all of Austin Metcalf's friends and people from his school, which is obviously going to say everything in Austin's favor. Even Eddie, who is Karmelo's friend, doesn't want to say the truth because Eddie was like, I don't even know him. I don't even know who Karmelo is. Come to find out that, yes, there's pictures and you guys were hanging out. Again, sorry if you guys don't know the details, but I'm sure most of you know by now. So the testimony from the prosecution is one thing, but those are all testimony from Austin Metcalf's friends and the kids in his school. And those kids, even if they don't like Austin, they don't want to go back to school and be ostracized. So they're all going to come together and tell the story. And this is the whole point of the appeal and the whole point of why some people are so upset is the people who witnessed it are all Austin's schoolmates and all Austin's friends. We have a grainy video. You can't tell who is who. So how do we know? How is a jury able to determine unaliving one with that kind of information and that kind of grainy video? Here's another thing. All of those teenagers that are around that have cell phones, at the minute there's somebody that raises their voice, kids these days bring out their phone and start recording. You're telling me that there was no kid under there that took out their phone and recorded this incident? And we do know that this incident didn't happen in a split second. There was arguing back and forth. They were yelling, "What are you doing under here? Get from under here." There's reports that Karmelo was like, "Yo, touch me and find out." You can take out your phone, you access your camera, boom, I'm here. I'm recording right now. It just took me 2 seconds. So you're telling me a bunch of teenagers are around and 2 boys are yelling at each other and nobody brings out their phone to record it? There has been conversation of one boy. I'm not mistaken if this was in testimony, but we do know that there's some sort of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that one boy said, "Yo, I had my phone out and but I wasn't recording. I was only pretending to record." Who takes out their phone and pretends to record? So there is the speculation that there is some video evidence out there from cell phone from Austin Metcalf's friends that they erased. This is basically what I'm alluding to. There's conversation that there is cell phone footage a lot closer to the incident. And that's why some people are saying, "Oh, he fell onto the knife," but we don't have that. Why? Because they know to delete that because they don't want that evidence to be played in court. They just want that grainy video. These are all the things that are going to be looked into. These 21 or 22 people who testified, "Yo, we want to see that your cell phone. We want to have access to your data. We want to have access to your iCloud." Y'all know nothing really gets deleted these days, even when you do delete it. There's these forensic people up top in a case like this. They could get to your stuff. So those are just a few things. I mean, I could go on and on, but those are a few things. If you ask me, the jury is the easiest one. Why were 3 Black women who are educators, who not better than educators, to be on a jury? You want to take off 2 of them? Okay, why not even leave 1? What are the grounds for that, sir? We will get to that. Okay, that is the appeal. I want to now play a video of Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf. He is going on Fox News, and he's talking about Karmelo. He's talking about Karmelo's parents. And I want you guys to notice something. He is now trying to make Carmelo's parents look horrible, try to look like they were the ones that brought race into this and publicized this. But why I want to play this for you is that you can see the snake that he was from the beginning, because he is trying to say before the trial even started, he wanted to pray with Carmelo's parents. He wanted to come together and, have a kumbaya moment. And it was in a press conference where somebody was like, yo, we should kick him out. And he's like, oh, they kicked me out when I was trying to be a nice person. And at that time, we don't know why he got kicked out. We don't know why Carmelo's parents decided to not have that kind of relation. But now we know, because I played for you guys last week where Jeff Metcalf is calling Karmelo watermelon felon and talking about 400 years ago and about black people and how we came to this country and being sold and this. And the evidence of him being a full-blown racist. Okay. We also know that Jeff Metcalf also has a criminal past. He has an SA charge. Listen to him now trying to get in the media and tear down Karmelo Anthony's parents. Remember the video I played for you, his racist rant. Look at it compared to this.
I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominique Alexander, who decided to throw me out of the press conference, had me removed by police, and then proceeded to gaslight me and tell me that I shouldn't have been there and it was not dignified. That's when they took it from any type of remorse, which they did not show, to the fact of now we're going to play the race card.
And your goal that day was to simply get together and pray?
Yeah, I was actually hoping to show them, hey, look, man, I know what happened was terrible and your son made a horrible mistake. I was hoping for some accountability maybe and some remorse. Neither one was shown.
Have you ever spoken to the Anthonys?
No.
Y'all sound off below. I just gave you a ton of information. Let me know what you think about the Dream Team, the Avengers that have assembled. Let me know what you think of the appeal process. Let me know if you think he stands a chance. Again, for those who've been following this channel, there's arguments for manslaughter. There's arguments for self-defense. I feel like the self-defense claim is the one that is a longer shot. Although I do feel like there's some evidence that point there. I feel at maximum it should be manslaughter. Okay. I'll pin my latest video to explain that to you guys about manslaughter. So let me know what you think about the appeal process. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. You feel like this is just going to be a waste of time and he's going to have to serve out his 35 years or half of his 35 years. Sound off below. Let me know what you think about Jeff Metcalf now playing this angelic role. Like, oh, I just want it to be so sweet. Shout out to his parents, by the way. Shout out to the Karmelo Anthony's parents for, switching gears and being like, oh, we thought we could have you in the press. We thought you could be cool. Somebody found out some way. Nah, this guy's a snake in the grass, man. You got to cut that grass low to see where the snakes are at. And also, just in closing, that Karmelo Anthony's parents came out, I think it was around 2 weeks ago, where they say that they made a mistake trusting people, not making this about race, not making a big deal about the jury, not making this, and even the defense who they picked. They're like, wow, we regret being so quiet. We should have made noise earlier. And now you see that everyone's making noise. It's an international story. And you see the Dream Team that's coming out. So I feel like Jeff Metcalf and his team orchestrated all of this to make their parents stay quiet, be docile and whatever. And then now the truth comes out. So let me know what you think about Jeff Metcalf and everything that is happening. All right. When you are commenting below, please do not forget to like and subscribe. But when you're subscribing, there is a bell beside that join button. Make sure you click it. You'll get a drop down menu. Click all so you can be notified every time we drop a video or if we go live. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please give this video a hype. It's absolutely free, costs you nothing, but it lets YouTube know that, hey, I really like this video. Get it going in the algorithm and hype it up. So if you give this video a hype, I'll appreciate it. Also, I said a couple of times that I'm going to pin my last video in the comment section so you guys can check that out. And also, YouTube is going to suggest 2 other of my videos that they think you might like based on you watching this video. So you have 3 of my past videos to check out after you finish this one. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Turn Out Loud. Peace!